What is up, YouTube? So today we are talking about, again, I did a lesson on this guy a while back, but I'm doing another lesson, Aaron Spears. That's who we're talking about today. I'm breaking down one fill out of a billion fills that he played in a new video that was just released on Sonar Drums YouTube channel. Aaron is playing to a tune called Switch, and I'll put a clip now so that you can hear this fill in context of the song. Insane. Aaron is such a killer player, and today we're going to break down this one fill, and I'm going to show you the fill exactly as Aaron plays it. Obviously, I'm not Aaron, so it's not going to be exact. I'm going to show you the fill exactly as I transcribed it, exactly as it's played, and then I'm going to show you two variations because, again, my thing with transcriptions is never, you just learn it note for note, and that's all. But my thing is take your favorite parts of the transcriptions you have and really break them out, break them down, and incorporate them into how you would use them. So this fill is awesome by itself, but these two variations are a way that you can use the same kind of building blocks from this fill and turn it into something totally new, totally different, and get more mileage out of one fill than just learning it at the same tempo that he played it and calling it good. We're going to maximize this one fill from Aaron. So before I jump into this lesson, I will have some notation on the screen so that you can kind of read along, but I have the sheet music downloadable for free in the description. You'll also get audio tracks of me playing these examples. You can download the audio examples, so when you print out the sheet music, you can have audio examples right on your phone or whatever to pull up so that you don't have to reference this video again. You can just take this stuff to the practice room and get working. So go to the description, click on the link so that you can practice and learn this stuff on your own. So let's first break down the original fill as is, as he plays it in the video. So as you'll see, this fill starts, and it's beat one is probably is definitely the easiest part to play of this fill, and all you're doing on beat one is playing an open hi-hat on the and of one. The rest of the fill is 3 beats of 16th notes, but what happens on these 16th notes is pretty crazy. So beat 2, it starts out with 2 kick drums in 16th notes, 2 E, and then is there's a right-handed flam on the and a left-handed ghost note on the So it's 2 E and So the most difficult part about this beat is that on the and, you're playing a flam, and it's a right-handed flam. The left hand is on the hi-hat, the right hand is a rim shot, accented snare drum note. So that right flam, I think most of us usually, I actually usually play left flams, but most of us would play right flams, and a flam is just where both hands are going to hit almost at the same time. Not exactly at the same time. The left hand for this right flam is going to hit just a little bit before the right hand. So it's a right flam, and you really want to make sure that this is a flam, that the left hand is a ghosted, a very small grace note before the rim shot on the snare drum. That has to be a rim shot. It's got to be accented. If you don't accent where this fill's supposed to accent, it just becomes a 16th note fill. The coolest part about what Aaron is doing is that he's playing these accents on the and in the next beat in the E, on the E, and that just gives it a very cool contour. It's not just this 16th thing, it's got a lot of syncopation in it. So that's beat 2. Beat 3 is still 16th notes, and you're gonna have a ghosted snare drum note, and then another one of those flams. And again, make sure it's a flam, make sure it's rim shot, make sure the left hand is up on the hi-hat, but you're also gonna play the kick drum with it. This is probably the coolest part of the whole fill because he's playing an accented kick drum, hand, accented snare drum together, and it's on the E of beat 3. That's super cool, really unique, gives this fill a very herky-jerky thing that I love. So that's beat 3. You're gonna do ghost note, flam, right flam with the kick drum, ghost note again, and then you're playing a rack tom. That rack tom being on the is also really cool because a lot of times when we accent things and we bring things out in fills, it's on the, it's usually on the ones and the ands, not the e's and the us. And this fill is very much about the e's and the us. So that's beat 3. Now beat 4 is hi-hat on beat 4, 2 kick drums as 16th notes, and then the very end of this measure is 2 32nd notes on the floor tom. Aaron plays them on the floor tom as left-right because he's an alien and the stickings he uses are insane. I don't know if you've ever seen transcriptions that I've done or someone else has done of Aaron's playing, but it is very much, the stickings are not what you'd expect. So a lot of times when you're transcribing Aaron, he's doing something and you think, okay, that's what he's doing. And then you listen to it and it's not, and you think, how's he doing that? And it's because he's using some crazy sticking that no one else except him would use. That's part of his secret. So it's 2 32nd notes. He plays them left-right. I'm going to play them right-left because, that's what I'm going to do because that's what I'm comfortable with. Let's hear the whole fill at 60 beats per minute. Let's speed it up to the actual tempo of the song, which is 120 beats per minute. Now, you're not going to go from playing this once all the way through at 60 beats per minute to going 120 beats per minute. That's literally twice as fast. This is going to take time. It's going to take practice. Go slow. Make sure that this thing grooves. Make sure the accent on the and of 2 and the e of 3 and the of 3 and make sure all of these accents are brought out. Make sure that when you speed it up, nothing changes. The flam still sounds like a flam. Everything still sounds like it did when it was slow. It's just a little bit faster. So here is the fill at 120 beats per minute. That's the fill. You could stay busy for a lifetime just working on that fill alone. But let's go to the second variation. The second variation is still 16th notes, but what I've done is I've taken what the original fill that starts on the and of 1, I've deleted beat 1, and I've moved everything over. So we're shifting from beat 2, we're shifting everything over to beat 1. And we're gonna play the whole fill exactly like we played it last time, except we're gonna stop where the 2 32nd note floor toms go, and we're gonna put in, now that we're on beat 1, we have 5 16th notes to fill in. And those 5 16th notes are gonna be a floor tom, a snare drum, a kick drum, and a floor tom and a floor tom. Sounds complicated, it's not. We're moving everything over, and now that we've moved everything over, we need to add some notes, so we're going to add 5 notes at the end. So that, slowed down to 60 beats per minute, sounds like this. All right, now that sped up to 120 beats per minute sounds like this. Now, again, it's going to be really weird. We always have this concept of, well, I already know how to play this. I already know how to play this fill, so it's easy. But what we don't realize is that when we start to take a fill out of the context we know it, let's say starting on beat 1, and I say, hey, start that same 2-beat fill, but start it on beat 3. It's like it's a whole new fill, and it's because it kind of is. Even though you've played this whole fill before, starting on beat 2, it's going to start to feel a little weird now that it starts on beat 1. And it's kind of going to be a whole new learning process. So take this slow, but take this second variation because I think it's a really cool variation. So that's variation 2. I know that's super quick, but it's all the sheet music and everything is down in the description, so make sure you go grab it. Okay, variation 2. This is where it gets a little complicated. We're going to 16th note triplets. This starts getting fast, this starts getting crazy, but what we're gonna do for this fill, we're gonna take a section of 9 notes from that fill, which is kind of what we did in the last one, but we're gonna take we're gonna take that section of 9 notes, played exactly like we did in the first fill, and we're gonna do that twice as 16th note triplets. What that leaves us with is 6 notes as the last 16th note triplet, and what we're gonna do for that is we're gonna do a kick, 2 floor toms, and then another kick drum and a snare drum. So beat 4 will sound like this. That's beat 4. So we're gonna take that 9-note grouping, move it to 16th note triplets, do that twice, and then that very last beat 4, those 6 notes. Let's play this whole fill in 16th note triplets, variation number 2. Let's play it at 60 beats per minute. All right, that's 60 beats per minute. Now let's play it at 85 beats per minute. We're not gonna take it to 120 because that's really fast. 85 will be plenty of speed, super cool fill. This is what it sounds like. All right, that is Aaron Spears' fill from Switch. 2 variations. This is a lot to practice, so I recommend go to the description, download the sheet music. It comes with audio files. Take it to the practice room. But before you do that, put in the comments, who would you want to see transcribed? Who would you want to see this kind of system of transcribe a fill and then break it out into variations? Who do you want to see me break down next? If you like this video, go ahead and hit subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Hit the notification bell if you're into that. And yeah, that's it. Download the sheet music, put in the comments below about anything, but maybe about who you want to see in a series like this, and subscribe, notification bell, and most importantly, I'll see you in the next lesson.